Hello everyone, welcome to Voxel. I hope you're doing fine. In this video, we're gonna discuss one cue card. That cue card is on Sportsperson, and let's start. So this is how your cue card looks like. Describe a successful sports person you admire. So this is our topic, and you should say who she is, what you know about him her, what she is like in real life, what achievement she has made, and explain why you admire him/her. So if you look here closely, they have given you option. You can talk about a male sports person or a female sports person, but don't talk about more than one, because they're saying a successful sports person, not successful sports people. No, they are talking about only one person. So you have to be very careful about that, and also take care of the gender. Do not mix the gender. Like sometimes you're calling that person, like if that person is male, so you're referring that person sometimes as he, sometimes as she. No, you should not do that. Your gender references should be clear so the teacher can understand what you're trying to say without any problem. Clear? So let's begin. Before beginning the answer, looking at the answer, understand how your speaking is marked. So there are four parameters: fluency and coherence. So here, this is the one of the four parameters. Second is lexical resource. Third, grammatical range and accuracy, and last is pronunciation. So on these four parameters, your speaking is assessed. Like while the exam, what I mean by this is, when the examiner is listening to your speaking, he or she is using these four parameters to give you band scores. Clear? So you, if you want to find more about them, you can go to IELTS website, or you can go to our website voxel.org, and you will be able to find about these four parameters. So one more thing, if you are unable to get a band 7 or more, whatever your desired band scores are, or whatever your dream band score is, even after multiple attempts, like you have given exam like multiple times, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe more, and you are not able to get that particular elusive band scores, maybe in writing, maybe in speaking, maybe in reading or listening, whatever the parameter, or whatever the aspect is, or maybe more than one. So and you want our help, you can go to our website. I will leave the link of my website in my bio, and you can enroll in our video course, online video course and classes. I will tell you more what you will get in this video course and in our classes at the end of this particular video. So stay tuned for that particular part. Now, first we will take a brief look at the marking criteria that I will proceed further. So these are the four parameters that I was talking about: fluency and coherence, lexical resource, grammatical range and accuracy, and pronunciation. So if you look closely, you will be able to find from band 0 to band 9, all the four parameters are defined separately and thoroughly. So if you are getting, for example, if you are getting a band 6, so these are the things you must be doing. And if you want to get a band 7, so these are the things that you need to do. If you want to get a band 8, these are the things. Band 9, these are the things. So if you want to read more about them, you can go to the IELTS website or our website for that matter, and you will be able to read them thoroughly. Clear? So let's begin. Now, what kind of structure you should use? So I have seen students struggling to speak up to 2 minutes. So after a minute or so, they are not able to speak more. Why? They think they have ran out of ideas. So you have to follow some structure. Obviously, in your speaking, you can do one of the following. Either you can use the bullet points that we have talked about, like who he she is, what he she does, something like that, or you can use our structure that we teach in our online video course. So I will tell you more about that at the end of this particular video. First, let's look at the answer. So now, if you haven't given the exam, I just want to clarify some things to you. So before giving this cue card, teacher will say some things to you, like For example, like this. Now I'm going to give you a topic and I'd like to you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. Before you talk, you'll have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say. You can make some notes if you wish. Do you understand? So something like that. There may be paraphrases, obviously. So teacher will give you some instruction like this, like before speaking for up to 2 minutes, you will get 1 minute to prepare notes, and they will give you pen and paper, pencil and paper, basically, to make some notes if you want. If you don't want to make notes, that's perfectly fine. There is no like positive or negative about that. So if you are that type of student that do not need any notes, so don't make any notes. But if you want to make notes, you can, or you should make notes, and you should look on like look at your notes while speaking. You can do that, but not for entire time, obviously. Like in between, if you are not, if you're struggling with your ideas, or if you forgot what you have prepared, you can look at your paper without scores being deducted. Clear? After the minute is over, then they will again give you some instruction like that. Okay, remember you have 2 minutes for this, so don't worry if I stop you. I'll tell you when the time is up. Can you start speaking now, please? And after that, you should start speaking. Clear? So let's look at the answer. So today I'd like to talk about Sachin Tendulkar, a successful sports person I truly admire. He is known as God of Cricket and Master Blaster. He is also the former captain of the Indian cricket team. Although I could talk about other famous athletes like Roger Federer or Cristiano Ronaldo, I picked him because his journey feels more relatable. So, which person I'm going to talk about? Sachin Tendulkar. So here I have told the teacher that I know other people as well, but I have picked this particular person because this is my reason. Journey feels more relatable. You can talk about any famous person. It should not be like only Sachin Tendulkar. You can talk about any person: Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, Djokovic, Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, whoever your favorite player is, or Usain Bolt, Michael Phelps. So whoever your favorite sports person is, you can talk about that particular person. Clear? So let's move forward. To be honest, I find him far more inspiring than most other cricketers because of his discipline and mental toughness. In my opinion, he is the most consistent and hardworking cricket player India has ever produced. For example, even when he was going through a bad phase, instead of giving up, he pulled himself together and came back stronger, which is something I deeply admire. I hope it is clear. So let's talk about some vocabulary side by side. So, for example, giving up. So to give up means you have accepted your defeat. Okay. So instead of accepting defeat, so better way to say is instead of giving up, he pulled himself together. So he gathered courage, and he got himself together, and he came back stronger. So comeback is like basically if you are making a comeback, you are coming back with a bang. Clear? Let's move forward. To get into the details, Sachin is a world famous Indian cricketer. He was a right handed opening batsman and known for his magical yet destructive batting style. He holds the record for most runs by a batsman in international cricket. He is 5 feet 5 inches tall, and that has also earned him the nickname Little Master. So now I'm giving some details about this particular player. You can add more details, and you can change your details according to your favorites, or your favorite or successful sports person that you're going to talk about. Talking about his achievements, he started playing international level at only 16. He has the most international centuries to his name, led India to historic overseas victories, and received the most prestigious award an Indian can get, Bharat Ratna. Clear? So I'm talking about his achievements. Anyway, I still remember whenever he used to come to bat, not only me but the entire nation was glued to their screens to watch him bat. Before this, I had never seen such a craze for any player. He carried hopes of a billion people on his shoulders. Now I'm talking about what I remember about him. I feel he is not just a cricketer but a role model for youngsters even now. I often look up to his dedication and try to apply his never giving up mindset in my own life, especially when it comes to staying consistent and motivated. If I had known earlier how important discipline is, I would have started focusing on it much sooner. So now I'm talking about what I feel about this particular person. In the coming years, I believe Sachin would continue to influence Indian cricket. Young players would follow his work ethics and love for the game, which would be extremely beneficial for the sport as a whole. I think sport authorities and schools should promote such role models more actively so that students learn the value of perseverance and hard work. If this is done properly, it would positively shape the mindset of future generations. Otherwise, many talented youngsters might miss out on proper guidance. I hope it is clear. So, now if I talk about my complete answer, it will look something like this. Now, obviously, in speaking exam, you may not have to speak for all these particular information, but that's not our, like you can say, focus. We are focusing on trying to speak for at least 2 minutes. Okay, so so teacher has to stop us, and we do not stay or stop in between or before the time. I hope it is clear. Now, we are going to look at some part 3 questions for this. So, after speaking the cue card, like after the teacher has told you the time's up, so how the teacher will say, thank you. We have been talking about this particular cue card. You're a successful sports person, and I'd like to discuss with you one or more two general questions related to this. So, teacher will give you some kind of instruction like this so as to indicate it's the beginning of part 3. I hope it is clear. So let us look at some questions. First, should students physical sorry about that. Should students have physical education and do sports at school? Now, what you can do is you can pause the video, and then after giving your own answer, after like making your own answer, you can continue watching this particular video. Your answer could be different or is probably different from my answer, or maybe there is some relevance. That's not our focus, that's not the main point why we are looking at this, but you will get to know whether you were thinking along the same lines or not, like whether your answer was relevant to this question or not. Clear? So I'm going to give them my answer now. Without a doubt, if they study physical education, they will get to know more about their body, like how much and what kind of macro and micronutrients it requires, and what is good and bad for their health. Since so much fake info is being spread all over social media by so called health experts and influencers, making kids aware about the facts becomes more important. As for the sports, many students are tied to the screens, so physical activity is essential for their overall development. Sports improve both physical and mental health. Regular exercise helps students stay energetic, reduce stress, and concentrate better in class. When students play sports, they also learn teamwork, discipline, and time management, which are useful beyond the classroom. For example, in my school, students who actively took part in sports were more confident and alert during lessons. Some weaker students also improved academically after joining sports because it helped them clear their heads. I think schools should make sports compulsory but well structured. They should schedule physical education properly and hire trained coaches. If schools fail to do this, students may grow up unhealthy and mentally exhausted. Balanced education, in my view, is key to shaping well rounded individuals. I hope you got my answer. Sorry about that. So obviously you will not be able to speak that much or that big of an answer. It will take you around 2 minutes to talk about this particular answer or around about that, but that's again not the point. Our point My point of this video is to give you as many ideas or as many vocabulary as much vocabulary, sorry, as many ideas as possible, so that you can understand that there are some ideas you can use for this particular question. Clear? Looking at the second question, what qualities an athlete have? Now you can pause the video, you can make your own answer and then continue watching. I'm going to give the answer now. In my opinion, the most important quality an athlete should have is discipline. While talent plays a role, discipline is what helps athletes stay consistent and focused over time. The reason is that sports demand strict routines, long practice hours, and emotional control. Athletes often face injuries, failures, and criticism, so mental toughness is just as important as physical strength. Without discipline, it becomes easy to lose track and give up. For instance, many successful athletes are known for following rigid training schedules even when they are tired or demotivated. Their commitment is what separates them from average players. I believe athletes who lack discipline usually fail to reach their full potential even if they are talented. On the other hand, disciplined athletes are more likely to enjoy long and successful careers. In the long run, discipline determines whether an athlete survives or fades out of competitive sports. I hope you got the answer, you got the idea what kind of qualities should athlete have and why. Okay, looking at the third question, is talent important in sports? Again, you know the ritual, pause the video, make your answer and then continue watching. As far as I know, yes, talent is pretty important in sports, but it's not the only deciding factor. Talent gives athletes a natural advantage, such as better coordination or quicker learning ability. Now I'm telling that yes, talent is important, but that there's a but in there. It's not the only deciding factor. Like talent alone is not sufficient. But yeah, talent gives a natural advantage because you will have better coordination or you can learn quicker than other people. Talent matters because it helps athletes stand out at an early age. Coaches often notice talented players faster and this gives them better training opportunities. However, talent alone does not guarantee success. For example, many young football players show great promise initially and are hyped as the next big thing, but most fail to progress because they don't train hard enough or stay disciplined and let fame get to their heads. Meanwhile, less talented players sometimes catch up through consistent effort. I believe sports systems should teach youngsters to focus more on attitude and work ethic rather than raw talent alone. Athletes who combine talent with discipline dominate, while purely talented but lazy players gradually phase out. So I hope you got the idea. So what I'm trying to imply in this particular question is yes, talent is important, but it's not everything. Clear? So it's one of the part of the puzzle. So it's one of the pieces of the puzzle, you can say. To the other pieces are your hard work, your dedication, clear, your work ethic, your attitude. These are some other pieces. So because if you don't have those pieces, your talent will not take you that far. Clear? Moving on to the next. Is it easy to identify children's talents? You know the ritual, pause the video, make the answer, and then look at my answer. Not at all. It takes a keen eye to spot a talent. Children develop differently and at different paces, and many are late bloomers. We all know that not every child develops in like at the same pace. Some develop early, some are like early bloomers, others are late. Kids are not always exposed to a wide range of activities. Without trying different sports or creative fields, their hidden talents may never come to light. Also, some lack confidence early on, which masks their abilities. For example, now we have given a real life example here. Gareth Bale started his career as left back, but he was converted into left winger by Harry Redknapp, then manager of Tottenham Hotspur, and he went on to become one of the best in his position. While there are several famous athletes, so I forgot R here. So obviously there should be an R here. Let me put it here. So, while there are several famous athletes who discovered their talents only during their teenage years simply because they were encouraged later. To handle this better, parents and schools should allow children to explore multiple activities without pressure. Instead of labeling them too early, they should focus on encouragement and exposure. If this approach is ignored, many children may never realize what they are truly good at. I hope it is clear. Moving on. What is the most popular sport in your country? In India, cricket is undoubtedly the most revered sport. Indians across all age groups are die-hard fans of it. It's become so popular because of emotional attachment and media influence. Cricket matches often bring the nation together and players are treated like celebrities. Constant media coverage also keeps cricket in public attention throughout the year. For example, during major tournaments like World Cup, normal routines almost stop and people gather around televisions to watch matches. Players also get fat checks to endorse brands because of their huge fan following. But it's not all roses, to be honest. Other sports, such as football or athletics, suffer due to it as they receive far less attention and funding. This imbalance limits opportunities for athletes in non-cricket sports. Unless sport becomes more equal, cricket will continue to dominate and talent in other sports will remain underdeveloped. So that's the scenario in India right now. Because of like popularity of cricket, other sports celebrities or other sports players, they do not get as much recognition as they deserve. And obviously, if they do not have attention of public, if they don't have huge fan following, they will not get like enough money, or they will not get big brands to like endorse them, something like that. So they will have to look other ways. Clear? Moving on to the next question. Why are there so few top athletes? Now, that's quite interesting question. So prepare your answer. Why do you think there are very few top athletes? Like why uh so if you talk about the best of the best, why they're so best athletes? Clear? So now pause the video, prepare your answer, and then you can watch mine. That's the case because reaching the highest level requires extreme dedication and sacrifice. Not everyone is willing to commit years of hard work with uncertain results because there is no guarantee that even if you hit all the right notes that you will become successful. Other reason is lack of infrastructure and financial support. Many talented athletes drop out because they cannot afford proper coaching or equipment. In addition, competition is fierce and only a small percentage manage to succeed. For example, thousands of young players train professionally, but only a handful represent their country internationally. In the future, if governments invest more at the grassroots level and training facilities, more top athletes would emerge. Otherwise, potential champions will continue to slip through the cracks and sports development will remain slow. I hope you understood what I'm trying to tell here. So, moving on to the next one. Do you think professional athletes are good role models? Now, again, you know the ritual. Pause the video, prepare your answer, and then you can continue watching. Just let me drink some water first. Okay, now I'm ready with my answer. The way I see it, they can be, but one should be careful who they are looking up to. Many athletes show qualities like discipline, perseverance, and dedication, which are extremely important for personal growth. But there are others who behave irresponsibly off the field, like they smoke, drink, or are involved in some scandal, which can negatively influence young fans. For example, athletes like Usain Bolt or Cristiano Ronaldo inspire young people to stay fit and focused. Many teenagers start exercising or playing sports seriously after watching them succeed. Young people often idealize famous athletes and try to copy their habits. When athletes talk about hard work, fitness, and mental strength, it sends a positive message to youngsters. Overall, if athletes act responsibly, their positive impact easily outweighs the negatives and they can strongly motivate the younger generation. I hope it is clear. Next, some people say sports stars are paid too much. What do you think about this opinion? Now, you know the ritual. I'll continue. I've got mixed feelings about this. While sports people do earn huge amounts of money, their careers are short and highly demanding. The reason behind their high income is the pressure they handle and the revenue they generate through sponsorships, advertisements, and ticket sales. Their success keeps entire industries running. For instance, a single top athlete can bring in millions through endorsements and global viewership. In that sense, their earnings match their commercial value. At the same time, it does feel unfair when athletes earn far more than doctors or teachers who contribute directly to society. Because we can live without sports or entertainment, but we cannot live without these crucial professions. And if people stopped opting these careers, societies would collapse like a house of cards. Okay, next. Okay, sorry, one more thing. No doubt, athletes deserve high pay, but income distribution in society as a whole needs rethinking. How do you think sports will change in the future? In the coming years, I think sports will become more technology driven due to advancements in AI and VR. Data analysis, fitness tracking, and virtual training will play a bigger role. So, AI, it's acronym for artificial intelligence, and VR is for virtual reality. So, I hope you know these terms. If you don't, you can Google them. They tech help tech helps athletes improve performance and reduce injuries because they can monitor everything with the help of sensors and video analysis. Fans will also enjoy a more interactive experience through virtual reality and advanced broadcasting. For example, many teams already use performance analytics to fine tune training and strategies. This trend is likely to grow. I believe use of tech would also help with talent identification and more athletes from smaller regions may get opportunities. If this happens, sports will become more competitive and inclusive, which would be a positive change globally. Next, what causes young athletes to quit sports early and what effects does this have? You know the ritual, I'm going to give my answer now. One major cause is excessive pressure. Parents, coaches, and societies often expect quick success as everyone is banking on them for one reason or another. Young athletes are pushed too hard without considering their mental health. As a result, they lose interest and confidence. For example, many talented players burn out in their late 20s or early 30s or are plagued by injuries because they are forced to train intensively from a very young age. This is a problem because it leads to a loss of potential talent and discourages other children from taking up sports seriously. If this continues, the number of elite athletes will decrease and sports culture will suffer in the long run. So, we are talking about the first causes and then we have talked about effects, what effect it will have. Clear? Next, what would happen if schools completely stopped promoting sports? Okay, now you know the ritual. Pause the video, prepare your answer, give your answer, then you can look at mine. If schools did this, it would negatively affect students' overall development. Specifically, their physical growth and education would become too academic focused. Another reason sports is important is that it helps students stay active, reduce stress, and develop social skills. Without sports, students would have few outlets to let off steam. Disillusionment with sports might nudge students to spend more time on screens instead of physical activities, leading to health problems. As far as I believe, schools should improve their sports facilities and encourage students to participate more so that they can enjoy their school life and become all rounders and not just bookworms. Clear? How are individual sports different from team sports? Now, this question I believe you must have heard in one way or the other, in one form or the other. So let's look at the answer. Responsibility and mindset set them apart. In individual sports, athletes rely mainly on themselves and they do not have to carry anybody, while team sports depend on collective effort. The reason is that individual athletes carry full pressure for success or failure, whereas team players share responsibility. This affects how athletes handle stress. For example, a tennis player stands alone on the court while a footballer backs up teammates and depends on coordination. As a result, individual sports build self reliance while team sports develop communication and cooperation. Both are valuable but shape personalities differently. So, just I just want to clarify some things in this particular question or give you some ideas maybe that can help you if for your maybe in your writing or speaking if this type of question arises in front of you. So you can say like for example I'm going to take out the example of Roger Federer, so or Rafael Nadal, Novak Djokovic, whatever whoever tennis player you know about. So if you look at, if you know about, if you have interest in tennis, okay, you will know that the single players or players who play in single matches, they are not that into like doubles. Clear? So if you look at Roger Federer, he has won multiple awards or you can say championships in tennis. But if I talk about in double tennis, in double games like with partner, he hasn't performed that many matches or that well. So why? Because when you play alone, your personality builds differently. You get to know that you cannot rely on anyone. You have to be responsible for everything, for every mistake that you make, and whatever the scenario is, you will be ultimately you will be responsible for that. But when you're playing in team sports like football, cricket, basketball, even if you have a bad day, there are other people who can like put put you sorry pull you out of that particular scenario, pull you out of that particular situation. But in single sports, it's not that particular case. Clear? So last question of this particular video: how has the training of athletes changed compared to the past? Now prepare your answer, then look at mine. Athlete training today is far more scientific than in the past. Earlier, training mainly focused on physical strength and repetition. The reason for this change is far better understanding of nutrition, psychology, and injury prevention. Modern athletes train smarter, not just harder. These days, all aspects of athletes are constantly monitored, like their sleep, diet, and body movements while playing or performing. And this performance data is used to cut down on injuries. However, in the past, many careers ended early due to poor training methods. Today's approach allows athletes to perform at the highest level for longer. Okay, so this is our like last question. Now what I was talking about earlier. So I told you earlier that I will give some more detail about our course. So if you enroll in our video course, what you will get in this particular course, in this course you will get in-depth information about different types of task 1 and task 2 questions. Okay, all the types of task 1 questions of both academic and GT. So if I talk about academic, like line graphs, bar graphs, pie charts, multiple graphs, processes, maps, tables. Okay, and if I talk about GT, your formal letters, informals. Okay, if I talk about task 2, your agree, disagree, both views, advantages, disadvantages, problem solution, two-part questions. Whatever type of question is, we have discussed in detail everything about them, along with the parameters, what you should do and what you should not do to get a particular band score. If you want to get a band 9, even the do's and don'ts, we have simplified all those four parameters into do's and don'ts so that you can understand those terms clearly without any complications. Okay, not only that, what you else you will get band 9 sample answers of all Cambridge books. For both task 1 and task 2, you will get band 9 sample answers from Cambridge books from book 1 to 20. You will get to know what teachers are looking for and how to give that to teachers. So if you want to get a band 7, so for example, if you want to get band 7, so you should know what teachers are looking for in writing, that is that, so that they can give band 7 to that particular writing, or task 1 or task 2, whatever your parameter is, or whatever. Let's take task 2 for example. So if you want to get a band 7 in task 2, so you should know what teachers are looking for on those four parameters to give you a band 7. Because if you don't know what teachers are looking for, how you are going to give it to them. Clear? Another thing, you what you can do, you can buy our writing correction service, or you can buy our one-to-one speaking slot. What will you get in this is, if you buy our writing correction service, we will mark your essay according to the four parameters, and then we will tell you which in what kind of band score you are likely to get in your exam. If you give the exam today, which parameter is your weakest, what you need to do to improve that, and how many band scores are you getting in each parameter. Similarly, in speaking, we will analyze your speaking according to the four parameters and tell you where you are lagging, like you're lagging in fluency, or you're lagging in vocabulary, or you're lagging in grammar or pronunciation, and how to improve that. So if you want to know more about that, you can go to our website and you will find all the information there. So that's it for this video then. I will see you in the next video. Till then, take care and goodbye.